Hello. Happy first and hopefully last day of special session. It's Friday. As you probably know, the session officially ended Monday, but all of the work wasn't completed. So in order for anything to happen, people continue to do the work, the different committees and leadership, but the governor needs to call a special session in order for people to come back. And that's what happened. We're in the middle of a special session right now today. Most of the conference committees have finished their work in terms of both the language and the amount of funding and their spreadsheets that they'll have, but we haven't necessarily seen all of that yet. So all of those committees need to finish their bills, get those all wrapped up. The reviser needs to make sure that all the language is done, which is quite a scramble for them this time of year. And then they need to go to both the House and the Senate floor for approval before they go to the governor. As you probably know, the leadership of the Senate, House, and the governor agreed on general broad parameters of what they were doing going forward. One of the big things we're very pleased about is continuation of the provider tax. So the repeal has been repealed and the provider tax will stay in effect. It's lowered from 2% to 1.8%, but without that would have been some really significant difficulties, especially for a lot of the health and human services things that we work on. So I'll give you a quick overview of what we know, but there's a whole lot that we don't know. The biggest thing, and none of this is final until it passes both the House and the Senate and the governor signs off, but the HHS Conference Committee spreadsheet laying out what their spending is going to be has come out, and it includes for the first time in 33 years an increase to families participating in the Minnesota Family Investment Program. So these are our poorest families. They're really struggling, and it includes a $100 increase per month. So this is almost 30,000 Minnesota families that are really living in deep poverty. This will make a huge, huge difference, and so we're very thrilled about that. Child care is another big thing that we're watching in the Health and Human Services bill, but many of the provisions there will come about in language rather than in the spreadsheet. A lot of the child care funding is through federal dollars, so until the language comes out, we won't have a better sense of that. The tax bill is out. One of the things that happened in the tax bill is they took some federal funding that's designated for temporary assistance for needy families that they've been using for the working family credit, replaced that with funds from the general fund. So the general fund is funding those tax credits like they are all other credits. And then that money became available for the MFIP increase. The tax bill also has an expansion of the working family credit, and we'll be learning more about that. Be able to tell you more about that as we have more details. We are still waiting to see on a number of issues. So a lot is still up in the air because not all the conference committee reports and actual language have been out, but we promise we'll give you an update very promptly next week. Have a wonderful Memorial Day weekend.